So this is my saltwater tank. It's been running for probably a little over a year. I did have a crash, and that kind of sucked, but it's starting to come back. I'm starting to be able to make it down here more often. I actually broke my foot recently, and I haven't been able to walk, so that's why I haven't been able to take care of these as well as I normally can. But I just wanted to say that me and my friends, we used to live together. We don't anymore, but we all three of us, I've always been into fish tanks, but they recently got into fish tanks at our old house, and we all started with like a 40-gallon breeder, and I've actually had this anemone longer than I've had this tank set up. I had it in my friend's tank because I wanted to be able to like watch after it every day and make sure that it lived. And then, as it turns out, Lenny here, he was an impulse buy that I also had to keep in their tank at my old house. But now he's living in here. He's happy. I got here's one hermit crab. Got some big aptasia down there. Trying to get interesting shells for them to go around in. I got that one in the back. I also have this one up in the front. But yeah, this is my little saltwater tank. I plan on doing a full rescape, but it might just end up staying like that and just get a nice water change. Here's the tank without the blue light. I do have a lot of cyano down here that I need to get rid of. Other than that, some hair algae right there. I'm kind of trying to leave the back dark or kind of with algae because I want to try and cover up that stuff in the back. See how that would look with it covered in algae. Also, I need to get in here and clean up a bit. But I actually just put this red shell in there, and this hermit crab has picked it up. I'm hoping that my big one, oh shoot, where is he? I'm hoping that the big hermit crab that I have picks up this shell. Last I saw he was over here, but he's not anymore. I do have a little bit of Kato down here. It isn't really growing that well, but it's the only macroalgae that I've been able to keep in here alive. I did have two other macroalgae. I had some Caulerpa that was growing here, and I had Caulerpa growing over here. But it all died pretty quickly. It all went sexual pretty fast. I also had kind of looked like a green plastic bag, and it would float at the top. I didn't really like it, so I took it out. But I definitely like macroalgae. It's a really cool thing that you can grow in saltwater tanks. I definitely plan on getting... Oh, little Lenny speaking out like right here. But there he is. Tailspot blennies are such a funny little fish. They are so interesting. The way they swim up and down. He's always looking around his tank. Looking at different things, waiting for food to come by. But yeah, that's the saltwater tank right now. I definitely want to get some SPS and LPS corals for in here. I'm thinking over here would be a good spot for some of the corals that need a little bit more lighting. And then for some of the corals that need a little bit less, I do kind of have a few spots over here. But I think I might, if I want to start doing corals heavily, I'll probably get a frag rack to put like over here on this side or in the front. Now for the story on this tank. But before I get into the story on this tank, I want to tell you guys about this giant Danio. That one right there. I have had him for close to 10 years. He is my longest lived fish. The other ones around him I ended up getting about 4 or 5 years ago, and they've been doing very well. This one actually originally I thought that he wasn't going to make it because he is blind on the one side. And they all grew up and they all made it. All of them survived. I bought all of them together, and all three of them together, and all three of them survived. And then the goldfish, actually, I used to have a red-eared slider, and his tank used to be right here. It was a big 110-gallon stock tank. And the goldfish were actually his food, but he started getting old, and he wasn't able to catch them as easily as he was before. So they kind of just grew up in there. And whenever he passed away and my mother made me clean up his tank, I had to transfer them into here. So yeah, that's the story on this tank. The tank itself I have had for probably 15, 16 years. It was actually a gift from my uncle whenever I was young. And then, stupid me, I put the turtle in there with my fish that I had in this tank, and then he ate all of them. And then he grew too big for this tank, and then I had to get the stock tank. But now I'm gonna try and get one of these guys to come out. Oh, right here. This is my peacock cichlid. So the story on these guys actually is this tank was empty, and I didn't plan on getting fish for this tank, but my local Petco was closing, and these were the last two fish that were in the store. So I felt really bad, and I decided that I would take them home. And they've been living in here for a while. It's reading right about like 72, a little low. I need my heater in here actually just broke, so I have to order a new one. But hopefully these guys, they really don't get along, even though there's millions of places to hide. So I think that the larger tank, the 29-gallon over there, would probably be a better idea, just to give them more distance. And the rocks in here don't even start to show you how many rocks I actually have. There's probably 15 or 20 rocks in there, and I have way more than that. Anyway, still some big plans in the works. Let me know if you want me to put the cichlids in this tank with the giant danios and put the goldfish down here in this tank, or if you want me to put the cichlids in that tank down there and keep the goldfish over here. Let me know down in the comments. I just wanted to say thanks for everybody for watching the video. If you found the video educational or engaging, hit that like button for me. And if you have any ideas for future content or what I should do next, let me know in the comments.